hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick, it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just to always be on go time. I think the clouds are on free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. Running from the lights, slip and get up. Thinking about the bullshit, leading right up. Mama told me one day you run out of luck. Now I'm looking up, quick tail catching up. Born into that trench mind, niggas had no straight mind. Only thing we know is break a bitch and push that bread line. Head be filled with crazy shit like shorty, had my head tied like bitch. So now you ain't coming to me about no bedtime. Ain't no keep it real, I really feel like the pressure is really on me. I know pressure is a bitch, but I don't let feelings control me. I know I've been getting colder, my niggas was flaking on me. So I had to bash some bitches at some parties. But don't blame me for it, don't blame me for it. I'm too cheap for it. Just watch me going, no brakes. Just keep top speed flowing. Bless me, test me, line me up, I know that I'm the next thing. Praying so don't catch me and arrest me. Hope that every night I make it in my best sleep. I hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick, it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just to always be on go time. I think the clouds are on free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. I hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick, it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just to always be on go time. I think the clouds are on free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. Running from the lights, slip and get up. You ain't about the bullshit, leading right up. Mama told me one day you run out of luck. Now I'm looking up, control catching up. Alright, I ain't resist, but don't take my chain. No, you can't search my shit. Know how it goes.
Hey, right. Okay, all right. Not even gonna play music long today. How's everybody doing? Whoa, so we got over one holiday. I can't believe next Wednesday is 2025. So I'm going to get into it quickly today. Shout out to everybody in the chat, everybody watching. I'm getting some really great feedback on the creation of a state. I got folks from Washington State, not DC, Washington State, who accidentally filled out the contact form. And I guess they probably misunderstood the registration part to be in the meeting that we're going to have in April. So I'm going to quickly speak about that and then get right into the main part of the segment. But shout out to William Robinson, DJ, Lou, EJ. Hey, beautiful. Hey, Lou, Charlene, Original Intellect. Who else we got up in here? Copper Aborigines, Othello Baby, Sammy, Lady Moon, everybody watching. Shout out Executive Sessions. Hey, what's up? Hey, I hope you come up on the panel later and say hi. So I want to go over the registration form to be able to get into the meeting for the creation of a state. Willie and I are going to pass out about 1,000 flyers here in Connecticut. We're just going to do the major cities, get like at least 200 out in the major cities, which is Bridgeport, Hartford, New Britain, Waterbury, and Hartford. If I didn't say Hartford, we'll get the flyers out. If you want to be a part of helping getting the flyers out, you can download the form on our website. Maybe go to Staples and make maybe 50 copies, 50 to 100 copies, and just pass them out to, civilized beings in the community, because that's what it's all about. Civilized beings. Doesn't matter. This is not a race thing. Okay. It's not, I'm just not into the race thing. I would definitely make sure you hit the businesses in the community. Not so much the chains, but the businesses. You might see a plumbing business, you might see an electrical business, you might see a transportation business. Just drop the form. Welcome, Adrian. Thank you for joining. You might see these different businesses, or you could, maybe you could make 100 copies of the form and pass out 50 to tax-paying citizens. Okay, and maybe 50 to 50 different businesses in the community. Everybody wants a fresh start, and the only way to get like a real fresh start of a new state is to start a new state with new people, no bureaucratic mess where bureaucrats pick the same people, make it in an office. No, you need a fresh start, and that's what it's about. Tax-paying citizens. Tax-paying citizens has no specific color. We all want a fresh start because we all want to live in a state where our monies are being properly appropriated and properly distributed. Okay, so that's what it's all about. So I'm going to quickly go over um, the form again, really quick, and you could be a great part of it by passing out, making copies of it, and passing it out in your communities. So the link to our website that takes you directly to the form is pinned to the top. It's pinned to the top of our chat room. So let's go ahead and do a share screen. Present, boing. Here. And here is our website, but it's under the political tab, right? You have to get to the political tab. If you look up here, it says political action. In this tab is where you will get the form. The meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, April 2nd, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, and 3 p.m. Pacific. You have to be 18 years and up. And the registration form must be completed and mailed. Okay? If you don't want to mail it, you can email it. Let's see. You click this button. Let's get the form open. Because it downloads, it opens into a new tab. So I'm going to have to do a share screen, a reshare of the share screen. There you go. All right, let me blow it up a little bit so everybody could look. And this is one of our 2025 goals outside of what our tribe is doing. But it's time to admit a new state to the union. And it is time. It's time. Times are so bad where we need a new state created. Other people are into doing other things. I'm not part of those communities. I'm not. This is the community I am part of over here. I don't have a problem with the 50 states. What I have a problem is the horrible representation for tax-paying citizens. And it is what it is. I have a horrible I just do not like how current leaders are running states and how we're being represented in Congress. Those same leaders who are our local state leaders. So I have a problem with it. And other people in other states have a problem too. And they want a fresh start too. So here's the form. I'm not going to read it. Like I said, the biggest thing I want to point out, the admission of a new state is open to all people, all legal tax-paying United States citizen. Race and color is not, and I repeat, a factor. We desire professional and humble United States citizens, civil citizens. We want to pull our families away from horrible conditions, horrible living conditions. They've had many, many, many years to fix the inner city hoods. And I feel that we need to pull away from them. And in this state, we don't even want inner cities created. A state with no inner cities, a state with no hoods. That's what we want. A state with peaceful and fun environments from like when I was little. You could go out and you don't have to worry about gunshots. All right. So you're going to clip this off with scissors. This is the only part of the form that we want back. Okay. And we much rather have you mail them. You have to have this form mailed into us in our hands by March 31st. Else you're not going to get the link. We will check our P.O. box on March 31st. And if we don't see your form in there on March 31st, you will not get the link to come in this first Zoom meeting. Okay. When you complete the form, it should be mailed to this address right here. It clearly tells you, you must read your first name, your last name, your address, okay, your phone number, and your email address. If you don't leave your email address, there's no way we can send you the link to join. Cameras must be on. If you cannot turn your camera on, it's a sign of this being disingenuous and just being nosy. If you can't turn the camera on, I am not going to allow you in the meeting. If your camera's off, we and all the moderators are going to remove people that turn their cameras off. If you got to hide, you don't need to be in this meeting. And what you can do is download this form. Like I said, print it out. I'm live. I'm sorry I can't answer any text message. You can DJ, I want you to chill out in the chat room. You're being compulsive and distractive. All right. Oh my God. Seriously? Okay. So there. Okay. So, like I said, that form, you can download it and you can make 100 copies, give 50 copies to tax-paying citizens, tell them to do the same thing, and give 50 copies to 50 businesses, small businesses, medium-sized businesses. You know, everybody should be a part of this. Okay. We have to speak as tax-paying citizens. And this is another way. Our hands are folded because we're not getting the proper representation at no level. And then what happens is when they see something like this, they want to quickly step out and be in the news for 15 minutes. Oh, you're like in my state. Okay, Hartford. The mayor popped out and said, "Oh, we're listing you bad landlords. We're naming names. They only name maybe like 3 or 4 people. Like, it's more than 3 or 4 bad landlords in the state, in the city of Hartford. That's why it looks like it looks. Okay. And nobody cares about the inalienable rights that we have in our communities. A clean environment. There is nothing clean about no inner city in the 50 states. So when you create a new state, what you do is don't allow any cities to be created. Simple. Don't allow any cities to be created. Fine. That way, no hood rats. Hood rats come in all colors. They do. Hood rats has no one race. People are disgusting. People are nasty. Gangs, destruction comes in all races of people. All right. So now I want to get into the Boston Tea Party, how they disguised as being Indians. And then I want to get into my it's my turn to get on Busta Rhymes. It's my turn to get on Busta Rhymes and all them and Fat Joe. But we're gonna first start with the many disguises. Okay, let's get it, y'all. I thought the Boston Tea Party is a hot mess. Y'all already know that. All right. So, disguise of Sons of Liberty. That's who they are. You know who the Sons of Liberty are. Let's see. All right. Copper color hide their true identities. Many of the Sons of Liberty attempted to pass themselves off as Mohawk Indians because if caught for their actions, they would have faced severe punishment. Reports from the time describe the participants dressed as Mohawks or Narragansett Indians. The disguise was mostly symbolic in nature. They knew they would be recognized as non-Indians. The act of wearing Indian dress was to express to the world that the American colonists identified themselves as Americans and no longer considered themselves British subjects. They were not dressed as Indians in the classic sense with headdresses and full authentic regalia. Rather, they wore wool blankets, match coat style, painted their faces with soot, S-O-O-T, look it up, and employed other modes of dress commonly known at the time as Indian dress, which had been adopted by soldiers during the French and Indian War. So what is soot? Throw up fire, y'all. You know, they put soot on their faces. A black, powdery, or flaky substance consisting largely of amorphous carbon produced by the incomplete burning of organic matter. So, yes. So, if you're going to paint your face to look like the Indians, why did you paint it black? Why did you use soot to pretend to be an Indian? Wing, 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 wah, 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 wah. And remember, this is one proof, and here's another proof of what that the Narragansetts and Indians who okay, come on, Granny. Let's just let Granny tell. You two cutie pies. Let's see. What? Okay, you just told me that you ladies are sisters.
Yes.
You're the baby over here on the left that was bullying your big sister in the pink.
Yes, that's right.
Anyway, what's your name? Willa and Ellen. Now, tell me what you know about people my color, brown skinned, who were
indigenous people.
To where? To what land?
To America.
All right now.
States.
And you know that as a little girls, right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
All right. I just want to thank you both. Where did you say the Indians were from? Where you are?
We have Abenaki up in Vermont.
Okay, and
we have the Penobscot in Maine and the Mashantucket.
Yeah. Okay. All right, ladies. Well, I want to thank you for that. It's just good to know. Because I was born in the 60s. They know. Yeah, we were taught that. You said everyone should know?
Yes.
All right, ladies.
Yes.
You girls, You're two good girls, and you gotta stop bullying your little. Okay. Let Granny tell it, because Granny gonna tell the truth. Granny ain't got time to be lying. Oh yeah, I could give you that link, Smoke. I'll make sure you have it this evening about them doing that at the Boston Tea Party. So let's get it. So this is about why you trying to be like me. So people have been copying us and trying to be us since those days. We gonna get to you, Buster. But let's keep it going. The Skies of the Sons of Liberty. An observer of the Boston Tea Party, John Andrews, wrote the following in 1773. They say the actors were Indians. Whether they were or not, to a transient observer, they appeared as such, being clothed in blankets, with the heads muffled and copper-colored countenance. Copper-colored countenance. This is what John Andrews wrote in 1773. They say the actors were Indians. Whether they were or not, to a transient observer, they appeared as such, being clothed in blankets, with the heads muffled and copper-colored countenances, each being armed with a hatchet or axe and pair of pistols. Nor was their dialect different, for what I conceived these geniuses to speak, as their jargon was unintelligible to all but themselves. Boston Tea Party participant George Hughes recorded the following. It was now evening, and I immediately dressed myself in the costume of an Indian, equipped with a small hatchet, which I and my associates denominated the tomahawk, with which, and a club, after having painted my face and hands with coal dust in the shop of a blacksmith, I repaired to Griffin's Wharf, where the ships lay that contained the tea. When I first appeared in the street, after being thus disguised, I fell in with many who were dressed. Equipped and painted as I was, and who fell in with me and marched in order to the place of our destination. What y'all think about this? I just can't. Let's keep going. Now, these are the Sons of Liberty. It's a large list of names of these Sons of Liberty. And I'll give you a copy of this. This all came from the museum. This is all in the museum, the whole write-up and everything. It's in the museum in Boston. And I will give you that link. Matter of fact, let me pause and get that link. The disguises. Let me just go back a little bit. Hang on, y'all, puppy loves. I got to go back because I want to write Disguise of Sons of Liberty. Disguise. Okay, here it is. I'll put it in the chat for you right now. Copy. There you go, Smoke. Hey, Straight Smoke. There you go. There's the link. Disguise of the Sons of Liberty. All yours, boo-boo. All right, now let's get back to where I am. I can take this off and I can get back. And these are the Sons of Liberty. It's a whole list, and it's all on that in this museum. A hot mess. So now, the funny part is, yeah, you disguised at that time, but you need to take the disguises off now. I think they forgot they wasn't Indian. But let's keep going. Bring it on. Not a coincidence. Bring it on, boy. I told you not to mess with thunder. They forgot to take their disguises off. So they went ahead and kept on being Indians. And said, that's what it seemed like to me. But let's go. The destruction of the tea. 340 chests of British East India Company tea weighing over 92,000 pounds, roughly 46 tons, on board the Beaver Dartmouth and Eleanor were smashed open by the Sons of Liberty, armed with an assortment of axes, and dumped into Boston Harbor the night of December 16th, 1773. The cargo was worth more than $1.7 million in today's money. Merchant John Andrews wrote in December 18, 1773 letter, 10,000 pounds sterling of East India Company's tea was destroyed the night, or rather evening before last. The British East India Company reported 9,659 British pounds worth of damage caused by the Boston Tea Party. And here's a little picture of the Boston Tea Party. Here's some more. No damage and no theft. Besides the destruction of the tea, historical accounts, no damage was done to any of the three ships, the crew, or any other items on board the ship, except for one broken padlock. The padlock was the personal property of one of the ship's captains and was promptly replaced the next day by the Patriots. Great care was taken by the Sons of Liberty to avoid the destruction of the tea personal property, save for the cargo of British East India Company tea. John Andrews recorded. To Griffin's Wharf, where Hall Bruce and Coffin lay, each with 114 chests of the ill-fated article on board. The two former with only that article, but the latter arrived at the wharf only the day before, was frightened with a large quantity of other goods, which they took the greatest care not to injure in the least. Nothing was stolen or looted from the ships, not even the tea. One participant tried to steal some tea, but was reprimanded and stopped. The Sons of Liberty were very careful about how the action was carried out and was made sure nothing besides the tea was damaged. After the destruction of the tea, the participants swept the decks of the ships clean, and anything that was moved was put back in its proper place. The crews of the ships attested to the fact that there had been no damage to any of the ships except for the destruction of their cargoes of tea. Boston Tea Party participant George Hughes remembered the following. This is huge right here. The commander of the division which I belong ordered me to go to the captain and demand of him the keys to the hatches and dozen candles. I made the demand accordingly, and the captain promptly replied and delivered the articles, but requested me at the same time to do no damage to the ship or rig. We then were ordered by our commanders to open the hatches and take out all the chests of tea and throw them overboard. And we immediately proceeded to execute his orders, first cutting and splitting the chest with our tomahawks. So as thoroughly to expose them to the effects of the water. In about 3 hours from the time we went on board, we had thus broken and thrown overboard every tea chest to be found in the ship, while those in the other ships were disposing of the tea in the same way. At the same time, we were surrounded by British armed ships, but no attempt was made to resist us. During the time we were throwing the tea overboard, there were several attempts made by some of the citizens of Boston in its vicinity to carry off small quantities of it for their family use. To effect that object, they would watch their opportunities to snatch up a handful from the deck, where it became plentiful scattered and put into their pockets. One Captain O'Connor, whom I knew well knew, came on board for that purpose, and when he supposed he was not noticed, filled his pockets and also the lining of his coat. But I had detected him and gave information to the captain of what he was doing. We were ordered to take him into custody, and just as he was stepping from the vessel, I seized him by the skirt of his coat, and in attempting to pull him back, I tore it off, but springing forward, by a rapid effort, he made his escape. He had, however, to run a gauntlet through the crowd upon the wharf, each one as he passed, giving him a kick or a stroke. Another attempt was made to save a little tea from the ruins of the cargo by a tall, aged man who wore a large cocked hat and white wig, which was fashionable at the time. He had slightly slipped a little into his pockets, but being detected, they seized him and taking his hat and wig from his head, threw them together with the tea, of which they had emptied his pockets into the water, threw his wig in the water. In consideration of his advanced age, he was permitted to escape with now and then a slight kick. So now, honey, listen, we're going to get into Marcus Garvey because Congress members urged Biden to exonerate Black civil rights leader Marcus Garvey. So they want to exonerate this Jamaican boy, okay? Because I told y'all they African, but y'all don't want to listen to me. So let me stop here for a minute, because then we're going to come back. I'm going to stop here for a minute. Oops. Stop here for a minute. And we're going to get into them wanting to exonerate Marcus Garvey, the Jamaican guy. Hang on, y'all. We got to get our laugh on. I could throw this down. Okay, let me do a share screen. This is a hot mess. I'm like, really? So here we go, y'all. Get your laugh on. Congress members urge Biden to exonerate Black civil rights leader Marcus Garvey. A group of 21 House Democrats signed a letter urging President Joe Biden to exonerate former civil rights leader Marcus Garvey. Okay. Congresswoman Yvette D. Clarke, Democrat of New York, led the panel of lawmakers, mostly from the Congressional Black Caucus. Okay. I would be surprised if she wasn't Jamaican, to exonerate Garvey on the heels of President Joe Biden's commutation of 37 sentences from federal death row on Monday. All right, let's just listen to it. Oh, God, I forgot to do something, y'all. Damn it. My darn. I forgot, y'all. Shoot. Darn. Give me a minute, y'all. I don't know why I always forget this. This just drives me nuts. All right. So now I can get back to where I was. All right. Sorry about that. All right, y'all. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. Here we go. The Jamaican-born Garvey was a notable Pan-Africanist who believed that all people of African descent should be unified due to their alleged common interests. Yeah, okay. Well, not this brown person, and I ain't black, so uh, he kick rocks because I told y'all he's African. No, I ain't doing. I'm an American. And I'm an American citizen. I'm down with the American citizens. Get out of here.
There's also breaking news that President Biden has commuted the death sentences of nearly all inmates on federal death row. Our senior White House correspondent, Selena Wang, has the latest. Good morning, Selena.
Good morning, Rebecca. Just moments ago, President Biden announced he's commuting the sentences of nearly every prisoner on federal death row. Instead of execution, these 37 inmates will now serve life sentences without the possibility of parole. Now, only 3 men will remain on federal death row, including one of the Boston Marathon bombers and 2 mass shooters. President Biden's actions today will prevent the incoming Trump administration from carrying out execution sentences for those 37 individuals. Trump has vowed not only to reinstate the death penalty, but to expand its use. As a devout Catholic, President Biden believes that the death penalty should only be used in cases of terrorism and hate-motivated mass murder. The White House is signaling this morning that there could be more clemency to come in the few weeks that President Biden has left, Rebecca.
And over the weekend, Biden also signed into law a bill that keeps the government running, averting that shutdown.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Millions of federal workers this morning are breathing a sigh of relief, knowing that they'll.
Whatever. Anyway, back to the Jamaican guy, Marcus Garvey. We don't need to read about him because we already know who he is. But I just showing you Jamaican born, African American. Okay. And that's who he is. Born in Jamaica in 1887. Okay. He was a Pan-Africanist, believing that people of African descent. Okay. Garvey was the founder of Universal Negro Improvement Association. Garvey also establishes Black Star Line, one of the first Black-owned shipping companies in the Western Hemisphere, connecting Black businesses across Americas. No thanks. Take your barrels, go back to Jamaica or either Africa, because this is an African dude. These are your, I keep telling y'all, and y'all don't want, you now I think you're beginning to see it. To see when they brought slaves from Africa, they brought them to the islands. Benjamin Franklin was like, absolutely not. No, bring people over here that look like us. And that's what happened. When they were rejected to bringing them, here, they brought them to the islands to work on the sugarcane, predominantly Jamaica and Brazil. That's where your Africans are. So this is why I have such a huge problem with them pushing reparations. No, you get your reparations from Jamaica or go back to Africa and get them. You're not getting the Indians on the mainland's tax dollars. You are not the enslaved. You were not the enslaved on America, mainland United States. There is a difference between mainland Indians and the Africans from Jamaica. And I keep telling y'all that. This is why, not a coincidence, and King Kaz act the way they do, because they're Jamaican, they're African, but we're not. So society is watching this. I want you to know the difference, because you say all brown, we're not all the same people. There are people who look like us and imitate us and portray to be us by adopting our culture, but that doesn't mean they're us. I mean, I like beef patties and cocoa bread, but just because I like beef patties and cocoa bread don't mean I'm of Jamaican descent or African descent. I like cream of wheat. That's mainland Indian stuff. They eat porridge. We eat cream of wheat. Big difference. So now, let's get it. Buster, Fat Joe, you talking my era now. You know, I really didn't want to get into it on Bab's channel because I said I was going to let the millennials have their world. I'm mom to the millennials. And these dudes, they're a little older than me. I mean, actually, these dudes right here are like Ali Bamu's age, who is a mid-age boomer. Not my era. But let's get it. Rapper's Delight came out in 1979. We're not going to do it, Buster. Don't tell us we didn't have culture. Boy, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do it. I said a hip, hop, the hibbit, You will not do it, Buster. And Fat Joe, you wasn't even on the scene. Let's get it. Curtis Blow, 1980. Don't play with me. Do not. Curtis Blow came out in 1980. Yes. What I tell you, remember how we know how the Sons of Liberty or whatever they were, their names, disguise, Buster, you not gonna do it. Flavor Flav was wearing bling bling, big things on his neck. You came 10 years after Flavor Flav. Don't do it. We're not gonna do it. It's scalping season. Flavor Flav came out in 1985 with the big medallion clock on his neck. And here you come in 95. Boy, bye. Don't even do it, Buster. And Flavor Flav is not Jamaican. You are, but he's not. Mainland Indian on the left, island African American on the right. We must know the difference. Mainland North American, what is he? Flavor Flav, I think he might be Shinnecock, if I ain't mistaken. Mainland North American Indian on the left, Jamaican African descent, like Marcus Garvey on the right. Big Daddy Kane. Do I need to go there? And what do he got on his neck, Flavor? Don't do it, Buster Rhymes. Boy, you better go ahead. What do you mean we ain't got no culture? You didn't even exist before these brothers. You talking my era now. And if it's one thing that I know my era because I was out dancing. I was in high school in them years. We're not going to do it, Buster. You talking about Generation X. That's why I said we're the parents of the millennials. Let's do it. And see, it's more. I mean, I didn't even bring out the female rappers from the 80s like Chirac. Listen, don't do it. MC Light, all them came out before you and Fat Joe. We gonna get to what y'all was doing in them days. You both need to stop hating. Because Fat Joe came out in 92, way later. And Buster, you came out in 95. How dare you pull up on the mainland and talk about we don't got no culture? What? We was doing what? We're not going to do this. Now we're going to get to your people, Fat Joe. Look at them socks, what they was doing in the 80s. Breakdancing. Are we going to go there? This is the Bronx. This is Puerto Rican Day Parade. They wasn't even dressing like with the gold chains. Where are their gold chains? This is the 80s. We was doing this in the 70s, but this is them in the 80s. I'm going to let that sit there for a minute, and y'all look at them damn socks. We're not going to do it. Oh, my goodness. ¿Qué pasa, Hector? We ain't have culture, but look at their clothes. Look at the port. These is all Puerto Ricans. Look at their clothes. Stop it. We not going to do it. I'm not playing. That was the 80s. We stopped wearing sweat socks like that in the 80s. Jordan was not, but you know what? We're not even going to go there. We're not going to go there. This is Run DMC in the 80s. Okay? This is Run DMC in the 80s. This is Fat Joe and them. What was you doing in the 80s? And look at their clothes. I'm not playing. Bronx, New York, Wild Puerto Rican Day Parade, New York City. Fat Joe, don't even play with me. Look at how they were dressed in the 80s compared to how Run DMC was in the 80s. I was in high school. I have neither one of my kids yet. I had my baby until 92. So, you know, I was working in school, in college, and having fun. I wasn't thinking about no damn kids. I had my son in 86, but he died. Let's get it. LL Cool J. What are we doing? He came out in the 80s. This is my era. LL Cool J is my era. That's why I said it's the difference between Generation X and boomers. LL Cool J is a Generation X like me. We were born in the same year. This is Generation X that you're looking at. We are the parents of the millennials. So, oh man, this is great. See, I'm getting my segments done within an hour. So I'm gonna put the link in the chat, and you guys can tell me about the let me see. What are we doing here? I want to hear your thoughts about the Sons of Liberty disguising to be us. So I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Come on up, hit that link. It's in there. Ooh. The link is in the chat. I want to hear your thoughts. I'll play a little music. Let's see. Where's my little thing? I'll play a little music until y'all get up here. Let's go. The link's in the chat. Hey, Straight Smoke.
How you doing, Sister Bethany? It's good to see
What's
you again.
good, brother? What's going on?
Man, just always paying attention. You know, everything is more food for thought and food for the soul than more than anybody could possibly imagine.
Facts.
Just got to take it in, absorb it, and apply it.
Facts.
I love what you brought out today because it makes so much sense as to why. And let's look at the Indian killer. I mean, it's just look at the chronological timeline you have been displaying for over at least the last year and a half, 2 years. If you go back and look at everything that you have displayed up until this point, you have showed how subsequently you were, well, I ain't gonna say you were, we as a people were usurped, and it was just made. It was just made to gaslight everybody to get us to this, get them to that point. They had to take over the trade. They had to. This was all
Yes.
trade domination.
Correct. And this list right here is an alphabetic list of the correct names, and this can be blown up. I downloaded it, and it's on that museum's website. And you can get all these names because I can read in cursive. A lot of millennials and the alpha generations don't read in cursive, but I can. Gen X can read in cursive, and
I
we
am a
got
Gen
all
Xer.
these last names. A lot of them portrayed and put on Indian disguises. Not all of them, but a lot of them did. To me, I can say, oh, so did you forget to take the disguise off? Because the ladies in CBS already pointed out who them Narragansett and Pequot Indians was, and
Right.
you had to put on black soot on your face. to make it copper colored looking like us. So that
Right.
if you had to change your skin color, obviously we know who the Indian is. And remember, don't forget, up there they had in Mass, they had black governors. I'm using modern day language, which I know they were Indians. Same thing down here in Connecticut. So we're not gonna keep playing these games. Come on. Come on. Not a coincidence. Shay Shun, y'all better run when I get on the panel, because I don't be playing.
It goes back to the
You
same
go
thing.
and look
you
for
know.
these last names, right? That's calling themselves Indians, right? I'm like, oh, you're one of the Sons of Liberty. So you're still faking to be an Indian. Don't play with me. Not today.
Is that list in alphabetical order?
It sure is. It's by their last
Oh,
name and first name. And
oh
I'll be
shit.
happy to send you a copy.
I would greatly appreciate it. I would greatly appreciate it because I will bust down that list.
Yes, sir.
Because
So
a
I
lot of people don't know, I look at this is gonna sound really odd, but I do pay attention to obituaries. I do pay
oh
attention
yeah.
to that because those that will show you the lineage of these people. It
Y'all.
will show you. And that's what I've been like really focusing on as of late. And it's just I do that because it I want to know how overallly, this is my overall goal, Sister Bethy. I want to know, how did you acquire the land?
Well, I don't know, honey. I'm just saying. I mean, this is my hey, curious Charlene, St. Louis. Listen, my interest and my my lecturing is not to be mean at all, but to distinguish between the mainland Indian versus the African American that came from Jamaica. Because a lot of us here in North America, especially in the North, we're constantly confused for being the same people as them. And that's not in my situation. I have my government federal records on my family and us being Indians. And I don't, not that I'm being mean to Jamaicans, but we're not the same. We have
Nope.
brown skin alike, but they're different. Marcus Garvey is Jamaica. If he wasn't, um, if he was a U.S. citizen, he wouldn't have been deported back to Jamaica.
You can't be deported if you're from here. I mean, make it make
Exactly.
sense.
If I get deported, I won't be deported. I can be removed from the United States as a citizen, but I doubt it. But I mean, you're not gonna keep mixing me up. Oh, hey, I see you. You can cut it off. You're not gonna keep confuse. Don't confuse me. And I'm not saying that to be mean. It's just like with white people. You know, a lot of them, Irish people, don't like to be mistaken to be Italian because they're not all Italians. They're not all Jews. They're not all Dutch, and they're not all French. They're all Europeans, but they're different. Same thing with Asians, Chinese. They're all not
Ooh,
Chinese. You have Japanese, you have Laotian, you have Vietnamese, but they're all different.
and they hate when you try to call them any other thing but what they are.
Correct.
They really
So
do.
that's all we
They hate
ask.
that.
This is a difference. Yeah, we're in the hoods, but we're not all the same. One is
Salute to you, all the
not
time.
foreign to land, and one is. One is literally African American. But you're not gonna come from Jamaica talking about some reparations and rights. No, you got to go to the British people to get that. What you doing?
Yep.
You want Indian land on the mainland? You got to go to Jamaica, to sugarcane people.
I remember
Y'all
us
got
having
it.
that conversation as well. I really remember us
Yeah,
having
I'm
that
just
conversation.
saying.
I asked you a long time ago. I know you remember this. How is it that you're gonna ask for reparations and the United States or America didn't bring you here?
Correct.
How you gonna do
That's what I'm
that?
saying. United States, literally, seriously, and this is serious. And this is to United States credit.
Yep.
White people in the United States didn't go to Africa and snatch people from Africa and bring them here. Do you know how
Nope.
many white people that I speak to and they're upset because they don't like being accused of that either? And I don't blame them.
Right.
What's that girl fighter's name? And they don't like being accused of their parents beating black people in the South with whips. Wait, I don't blame them. Why are you blaming white people, okay, that were born in America, they're citizens, that they were your slave masters? That's wrong. And that shouldn't be done. And I don't blame them for being angry for that. You know how many white people I speak, excuse me, my parents came here in the 1900s, 1900 or 1899. Slavery was over. I didn't have any ancestors that owned slaves. And we as a people owned our own people in the South. Indians owned Indians. Indians enslaved Indians. Indians sold Indians. This was our land, and that's the life that we practice here. And what happened, many of our people joined the union and said, we want to stop the shit that's going on down south. I'm speaking in Indian tongue right now. We want to stop what's going on down south. The slavery and all this beating their kids on the land and with the whips and stuff. So we joined the union with white Europeans and fought the South and defeated it. So if you want to tell a story about white people, tell that story. White people fighting to stop the bullcrap that was going on down south with our grandparents, Indian grandparents, and them manumission and not manumission us as a people. Tell that story. Tell the good story about the white people fighting to get you from being under your granddaddy's whip. You brown pookies. Let's get it. You want to talk about
You know
white
what
people?
kills
Let's talk about that. They risked
on
their
the
lives and died in wars to get you from being whipped down south.
But Sister Bethy, it goes back to the same thing that you just stated. This is how they group everybody together under this identity politics crap. They want you to say, "Oh no, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this." Only if it's registered and accredited by whoever wants to make that group to be what it is. So it's easy to say all of you all are African American. It's easy to say that.
Right.
But
Facts.
what the one thing that differentiates in all of this, if I was African American, if I was African, I would have an African diet.
Facts.
That's it.
Facts.
You're not going to remove my diet of what I eat if I came from that place.
Facts. And
So
Africans are
anybody
here now.
sitting
They
over here-
eat fufu. They eat fufu.
Exactly.
I don't eat that.
I don't eat that. I'm sorry. I don't eat red snapper. I don't eat certain things because it was never prevalent in my diet from what I came from. That's why I eat deer. That's why I eat elk. I eat different. A lot of these folks don't understand that. If it was in your diet, that's the one thing they couldn't take from you was your diet. The way you eat has never been taken from you.
Facts.
So now where we at? See how that work? See how that
We
work?
got Indians in the Virgin Islands. They're indigenous to those islands. A lot of them were taken from here and brought to the islands. A lot of the Pequots were taken and brought to what? Barbados, Virgin Islands. Those are Indians, St. Kitts. They were brought there. They came from the mainland. A lot of them can trace their ancestry back right back here on the mainland. But
Mm-hmm.
Jamaicans, no, they can trace their ancestors literally to Africa. They have the records. We don't have the United States government doesn't have anything to do with the Jamaican government or British government's former records. They're literally listed as Africa and stating that they came from off a specific ship in Africa and they're Jamaicans. Marcus Garvey can trace his ancestry right on paper to Africa, to the ship that his great grandparents came off of. Those people in Haiti, they are indigenous to Haiti. They were already there.
That's right.
They've always been there. They're not Africans, just like the Cubans. They were always there. And they look
Yep.
exactly like us. Haitians, you can't tell Haitians from us until we start talking. You
And
can't
our
tell
diet.
a lot of um Dominicans and I, which is crazy. Dominicans and Haitians don't even like each other. They're in the same damn land.
Nope.
And that's crazy. It's the light ones that have the more European features that don't like the dark Haitians. And those are the original Indians of the land, the Haitians. And then you get to Cuba. Cubans look like me. The original ones. Jimmy Barbecue's a Haitian, but he's indigenous to Haiti. Those are Indians of the land, and that's part of America. Central America, they have their original Indians. But my focus is not in those areas because it's not where I'm from. I'm from the mainland. I'm a mainland North American Indian. My family's always been here. My family fought on both sides of the war. They fought, some fought with the Union, because I got the records, and some fought with the Confederates. So when you read in their Bible, brothers will be fighting against brothers. That's it, the Civil War. You got a brother, some of us moved to North, and we was fighting in the war with the South, our own brothers and sisters. Now, another thing I know you can't make up a damn lie about is about white people. Stop blaming them. Talking about they beat our people with a whip. What's that damn boxer's name in Flint, Michigan? What's her name? Celestine. Oh gosh, she's married to that rapper. What's
I
her
would
name
not
in
know.
Flint? Flint. She from Flint, Michigan. This girl is 0-0 knockout. What's her name, Copper, in Flint, Michigan? That boxer. Ain't no way in the hell you gonna beat nobody's baby on a slave farm. And
It just don't add up. I don't
I
care what
forgot her
nobody say.
name,
None of this
but
crap
she's
adds up.
Clarissa Shield. Man, you see that girl fight? That's how you know. Ain't nobody was beating no black lady kids, Indian lady kids on the lands of South in the South. Not when you got fighters like her, Clarissa Shield. Ain't no way in the world. Go look at her fight.
It doesn't
Anyway,
make sense.
no, it don't. So they need to stop all the lies. Alabama, what's up? What's good?
Season's greetings, Green Mother. Before I comment on what I wanted to bring to you, you see it in the private chat because I didn't want to put it out in public because I know your lawsuit might still be under wraps. But the Zambo part of the documents, could you bring that back? Remember when because we discussed this, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, when you first was looking at it, why a Zambo? I'm trying to remember the young lady, the actress, the Finding Your Roots and Do You Know Who You Are? That was a competitive show for Skip Gates, Finding Your Roots. I'm trying to remember this sister because she's a beautiful, dark skinned sister, but she was confused about her Jamaican and Trinidadian past. And there was Zambo with a Z. You remember that?
Oh
I'm just
God,
talking
no,
specifically in the Jamaican records. Because with the
no.
British colonialists, which is very interesting, there should be something similar in wherever British colonies can be proven to have been started. So that would be Massachusetts Bay, that would be the Virginia Company. Why don't we have any records as detailed as the few that were brought here? Because it's less than 5%, right? Even with the narrative from slavevoyages.org, 85% to Brazil, 10% to the Caribbean island chain or the West Indies, and 5% made it to the mainland. I don't care what number you use. 5% is 5%, right? Now you would have record of the majority, Brazil and the Caribbean island. We see that there's detailed records. Why do records evaporate when they get to the mainland?
Because
Talking
there
about
ain't
the
no record.
American known as the Negro.
Well, you got to remember, they wouldn't have our records, to be perfectly honest with you, because they were doing their own business in their own colonies. It had nothing to
Which would
do
be
with
private
our records.
transactions between the
Right.
colonists
They wouldn't
individually.
have our records. That's why I keep telling everybody. They're,
Okay,
they're,
so what about
the
these colonial
colonists was
governors?
not over us. We weren't their subjects. They had their own subjects. It wasn't, it didn't
So
happen
where are
with
the
us.
colonial government records?
I don't know. And it still has nothing to do with us. I don't know. I don't care about the colonial records. And I'm going to tell you why. Because it didn't have anything to do with our ancestors. We were never subjects of the colonials. So we wouldn't be listed in their records. We would
Do you
not be
see what
listed
I
in their records. Our
do? You,
records were taken by the people that established the tribes in Oklahoma when they left. Those would be our records. The United States, okay, aka the 13 colonies, would not have records on us. That's why when you seen their records, their census sheets, it said white, free whites. We wouldn't be in their records. We didn't come with them as subjects. Okay,
did you see what I was proposing in the private chat?
I did,
And are you
but
familiar with what's going on with that so-called hip hop declaration out of UNESCO?
nah, not interested either. I'm sorry, Bamo, but my focus is what I talked about today, bruh. I'm sorry.
Well, I
It's
meant that
getting
as parallel to what your efforts are as far as suing them on culture, on education, Department of Education, anything
no,
else
I
that's
that's
claiming
not
that
even
we're a slave.
it's not in mind. People are gonna have to take up their own lawsuits, but I'm not even discussing that on YouTube. It's not written in my lawsuit, and I don't want to discuss it. But what I'm
But I thought the
focusing on,
Department of Education was one of the claimants.
I don't want to talk about it. I appreciate if you respect that. But what I do want to speak about is our 2025 goal is to get a new state, the 51st state. People have been contacting me, and I appreciate it. And if you are watching, you need to fill that form out. Once you fill that form out and send it to me, I will be giving you a call, or someone from our team will be giving you a telephone call. I got a voice message left. Somebody was able to contact me from Washington State. He sounds like an interesting man, but that's what it is over here. But other than that, you guys, Willie and I will be out this weekend canvassing. Like I said, we'll be passing out those flyers. We'll get them out in the major cities here in Connecticut. So we're taking care of Connecticut, and I'm charging you to take care of your states. You can download it and pass them out.
But when
And
you say 51st state, maybe I'm not understanding conceptually
we
what
want to
you mean.
create another state, another state.
That would be anywhere in all the 48, including Alaska and Hawaii. So these would be
Correct.
similar to what you're doing as Why a Nation. Then is
No,
Why a
it has
Nation
nothing to
becoming
do.
the
It has
51st state?
nothing.
Or
No, this has again.
no, but listen to what I'm
Has
asking.
nothing. This has nothing to do with Wire.
I got you.
Nothing.
Okay, so separate why a nation
A
from what
51st
I'm
state.
asking.
We just want a 51st state for fresh start. We want a 51st state. There's no
But that
state that's
state would
learned.
cover what, though? That's what I'm saying. All the 48 and Alaska and Hawaii, people who live in all
No,
of the quote
no,
unquote United States.
no, it wouldn't.
So
We
then
want
where's
a
this
fresh,
51st state?
we want a 51st state, and
Physically somewhere?
we're gonna have a meeting about creating a fresh start, a 51st state. Canada already said no. We will discuss it in our meeting. We want a 51st state, and it's not a state that's going to be full of just Negroes, brown people. We want all people who want a fresh state to join us in starting a 51st state to get away from our current governors and our current governors, our current mayors, our current municipality leadership, start a whole new fresh one. So our particular state won't ever have to worry about cheating or on ballots. And when it comes to voting, we want our own new fresh governor. That's mine is not tainted. And our own municipalities. We want to create our own ordinances, and we want to work humbly together with the federal government as a 51st state. So again,
So wait a
fill
minute
out the
though.
form
Hold on.
and send it out.
You said Canada said no.
Canada
Is
said
this the
no, they
same?
will never be a 51st state. They don't have any interest. That came out in
Was
the
that
news.
supposedly in response to this tiff between Trump and Trudeau? Was that was
I
supposedly
guess.
that was okay? Now,
I
so
guess,
Puerto
but I
Rico is
can't
the
blame
same
them.
thing
I don't know. No, Puerto
because
Rico.
Puerto Rico is arguing for that position, and you already know the District of Columbia that's been going
I
on for
really don't
decades.
care whether we become the 51st state, 53rd state, or 56th state. I don't give a damn. That's what we want. And I want everyone interested to show up to that meeting scheduled for Wednesday, April 2nd, April 6th, 6 o'clock Eastern. Fill out the form. Whatever number state it is, we want a new state. That's what we want.
I hear what you're saying, Sister Beth. All I'm trying to understand is where is it physically located, or is it going to be territorially carved out like the District of
Alabama,
Columbia
we haven't had the
between
meeting to
Maryland and
make that
Virginia?
decision. We haven't had the meeting to make that decision. We're asking for professionals from all around the world to join us in the meeting so we can figure it out.
In April.
We're having a meeting in April. If you go and look at the form, you will see it. Anything else before I leave? Because I don't be on long lives anymore. Anything
Okay.
else you
Well,
need to know?
I'm sure you and tell Big Willie happy holidays. Enjoy the rest of the season.
He's in the chat. He can hear you. You enjoy it too. Nice talking to you. So, like I said, anyone want to the record achievers? No, I'm not the British records. They're a little different. I don't believe the British ones were fake. Those are very real. I mean, they in the British instance, they don't have a reason to really lie. We already know that they have the British islands, so it would be no reason for them to lie because later on they gave Jamaica their sovereignty. So they really don't have a reason to lie. Whereas here, they can make up records. See, here on the mainland, there were no records for us because we weren't part of the 13 colonies. We weren't their subjects. They had their own subjects. We joined them later on with the negotiations of our chiefs. So, that being said, my loves, I hope you enjoyed today's segment. Smash the like button. And I'll be back with some more stuff. And Smoke, I'll get that email over to you if you didn't click that link already. And I just want everybody to have a wonderful day, because it's a new day and New Year's is next week. So y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening. I'll be watching Smoke later so I can get my laugh on.
I hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just so it's me on go time. I thank the clouds that I'm free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. Running from the lights, slip and get up. Thinking about the bullshit, leading right up. Mama told me one day you run out of luck. Now I'm looking up, quick tail catching up. Born into that trench mine, niggas had no straight mind. Only thing we know is break a bitch and push that bread line. Head be filled with crazy shit like shorty, had my head tied like bitch. You know you ain't coming to me about no bedtime. Ain't no keep it real, I really feel like the pressure is really on me. I know pressure is a bitch, but I don't let feelings control me. I know I've been getting cold and my niggas was flaking on me. So I had to bet some bitches at some parties. But don't blame me for it, don't blame me for it. I'm too cheap for it. Just watch me going, no brakes. Just keep top speed flooring. Bless me, test me, line me up, I know that I'm the next. I hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just so it's me on go time. I thank the clouds that I'm free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. Running from the lights, slip and get up. Thinking about the bullshit, leading right up. Mama told me one day you run out of luck. Now I'm looking up, quick tail catching up. Born into that trench mine, niggas had no straight mind. Only thing we know is break a bitch and push that bread line. Head be filled with crazy shit like shorty, had my head tied like bitch. You know you ain't coming to me about no bedtime. Ain't no keep it real, I really feel like the pressure is really on me. I know pressure is a bitch, but I don't let feelings control me. I know I've been getting cold and my niggas was flaking on me. So I had to bet some bitches at some parties. But don't blame me for it, don't blame me for it. I'm too cheap for it. Just watch me going, no brakes. Just keep top speed flooring. Bless me, test me, line me up, I know that I'm the next thing. Praying till don't catch me and arrest me. Hope that every night I make it in my best sleep. I hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just so it's me on go time. I thank the clouds that I'm free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. I hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just so it's me on go time. I thank the clouds that I'm free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. Running from the lights, slip and get up. Even about the bullshit, leading right up. Mama told me one day you run out of luck. Now I'm looking up, control catching up. Alright, I ain't resist, but don't take my chain. No, you can't search my shit. Know how it goes. These just praying that shit. Give me my chance before my grave is dig. Bless me, test me, line me up, I know that I'm the next thing. praying so don't catch me and arrest me. Hope that every night I make it in my best sleep. I hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just to always be on go time. I think the clouds are on free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. Running from the lies, slip and get up. Thinking about the bullshit, lit it right up. Mama told me one day you run out of luck. Now I'm looking up, quick tail catching up. They catching up.
YGF beats, baby.
Elevate my hustle, gotta get your stress. Cause you the kind of girl I wanna make to my wife. Ain't no point that anyone can make, I know that ain't right. They can't tell me how I feel or walk a day in my life. For all the minds I kill, told you many times you really mine for real. Cause something about your eyes always shine for real. Stick it out with me as you gon' sign the deal. For all the minds I kill, told you many times you really mine for real. Cause something about your eyes really shine for real. Stick it out with me as you gon' sign the deal, yeah. Little crazy light, baby, fiending on her lately. Heavy on my mental, so I'm in a booth for wavy. See me, I don't give a fuck, I'm open, I ain't shady. These niggas see it, so they hating. Sipping bottles again, ducking all of the feds. Putting loaves inside the cover, we ain't splitting no bread. Getting all these different fabrics off your neck and your head. Hope that karma ain't gon' get me for what's coming ahead. My baby said she wanna love song. 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 I'ma sing her this love song. Yeah, I'll sing it to elevate my hustle, gotta get your stress. Cause you the kind of girl I wanna make to my wife. Ain't no point that anyone can make, I know that ain't right. They can't tell me how I feel or walk a day in my life. For all the minds I kill, told you many times you really mine for real. Cause something about your eyes always shine for real. Stick it out with me as you gon' sign the deal. For all the minds I kill, told you many times you really mine for real. Cause something about your eyes really shine for real. Stick it out with me as you gon' sign the deal, yes. Something really shine for real. Something really shine for real. Something really shine for real. In your eyes it shine for real. For all the minds I kill, told you many times you really mine for real. Stick it out with me as you gon' sign the deal. Stick it out with me as you gon' ride. For all the minds I kill, told you many times you really mine for real. Stick it out with me as you gon' sign the deal. Baby, is you mine?
YGF beats, baby.
Elevate my hustle, gotta get your stress. Cause you the kind of